I mean, this Didiya and Puri of Lord Jagannath, there's hundreds of stories about the deity, how much he interacts with his devotees. So there's one book we collected over there, and I wanted to read some of those stories. Those are very interesting. There was once a king of an Orisen king. His name was King Kulashekar. He's actually pretty famous. He wrote some stutis and prayers of King Kulashekar. So he was very effulgent and charitable and learned, and he was very beautiful, and he was very pure in his mood and behavior, and he took care of his citizens like his own children. He was full of devotion and very sincerely served the lotus feet of his spiritual master. One day the king was sitting in an assembly of pandits and rishis, listening to Hari Katha, relishing the topics of the Lord, and at that time his Gurudev came into the assembly. So King Kulashekar, he received his guru properly and with proper seating and all garland and everything. And then he paid obeisances to his guru, as is done. He paid obeisances, or dandavat, satsang, pranams. There we say, offered dandavats. And then he was sitting there, and his guru decided to listen to the Hari Katha. So the guru was sitting here, and the king was sitting here, and they're listening to the Hari Katha. And then after a few minutes, a fly was bothering King Kulashekar. It was on his forehead. So he hit he went like this on his forehead to brush away the fly. And while he did that, he brushed away a lot of the dust particles. There were many particles of dust on his forehead that he collected from offering obeisances or respect to his spiritual master. The spiritual master was sitting next to King Kulashekar. He saw the action of his disciple wiping his forehead like that, and then he became somewhat dejected, and the guru hung down his head in disgust. Not disgust, but let's say disappointment or unhappiness. Then King Kulashekar, he couldn't help but notice the movement of his guru. And then he inquired, he said, in a humble way, inquired, "Oh Gurudev, it seems that you're somewhat unhappy. Will you please tell me what is the source of your discomfort?" So then the Guru, he explained, he quoted some point from scriptures about these dust particles. He said, according to Puran, Gurudev said, when one offers prostrated obeisances or dandavats to his guru, he is immediately freed from the reaction of his sinful activities for as many lives as there are dust particles on his forehead from paying his obeisances. But now you have removed those dust particles from your head. Because when you put your head so many dust, so then he went like this, and all the fly went away, and the dust particles went away too. And Gurudev said, now you have removed all those dust particles from your head. Can you imagine how much sin you have acquired by doing so? By touching your hand to your head, the dust particles fell on the ground. That is why I feel sorry for you, because you have deprived yourself of becoming free from your sins for that many lives. Hearing this from his guru, King Kulashekar became stunned. And then, shortly later, the guru left the palace. And the king was thinking, oh, I have committed a grave offense to my guru. And how can I must atone for this offense, this aparad. So he consulted some Brahmins, and they said that actually, King, the scriptures recommend a very rigorous and difficult atonement, or prayaschit, for this aparad that you've committed. And the king said, never mind, tell me, whatever it is, however difficult it is, I must perform it. I must gain the favor. And then they said, the rishis told him, the Brahmins advised him, the sages explain that if one offers prostrated obeisances or dandavats to his guru and sits down in front of him, the shishya becomes free, or disciple becomes free from the reaction of as many lives as there are dust particles smeared on his body during the time he offers obeisances. But if one foolishly removes those dust particles out of pride, then he loses all sukriti, or pious credits. To become free from this kind of guru droha, or neglect of guru, he must perform the following atonement. Now listen to this. This is quite an amazing thing you have to do. You have to get a copper plate, tamra, big piece of copper, 12 feet long, 3 feet wide, and 6 inches thick. It's like a huge block, 6 inches thick of copper. It's take a block of rupees also. This copper used to be quite cheap, but it's not very cheap nowadays. Especially 12 feet long, 3 feet wide, 6 inches thick. And then you have to suspend that. You have to support that by 4 pillars. That's almost like a copper bed. You have 4 pillars, and there's a copper like this, right? Horizontal, 4 pillars, columns. And underneath it, you have to make a raging fire out of coal, hot coals. You say koila? Yeah, yes. Lakri koila, wood coal, and make a big fire. And then the offender has to offer 108 dandavats lying on that hot copper plate. Only then will one be free from this offense to his guru. This is the verdict of the scriptures. It seems like a heavy price to pay for a small infraction. It doesn't seem the two are equatable. The offense seems small and the retribution seems rather great, out of proportion. We've often seen taking people around Vrindavan, or visitors or yatris. I'll show them some samadhi or holy place of some Thakur or some Lila stali. I say, this is Raghunath Das Goswami or Rupa Goswami's samadhi. We should offer dandavats here to show our respect and pray for his mercy. So then they do like that. They offer dandavats. And then when they stand up, as soon as they stand up, they go like this. Okay, I did it, but this is a good sari, and this is a nice suit, a nice dhoti, and my nice sweater. I don't want to get it dirty. I don't want to get it dirty. But from this anecdote, we can see that this is not exactly the right way to go. We should leave, at least, and especially they get off their face. They go like this. Because often if it's a hot day and someone's perspiring and they offer dandavats, they get so much dust on their nose and dust on their forehead. And that dust is actually the ornament. That's the bhushanam, Vaishnava bhushanam, the dust of Vrindavan, or the dust of the feet of the Vaishnavas, or the dust is lying before the samadhi. So this was the atonement recommended in Shastras that was told to the king, and so he accepted that I must do this no matter what. If I die, let me die, but at least I can try to rectify the situation. So when everyone in the kingdom heard that their beloved king Kulashekar, the king of Utkal, or what we call Rasa, was going to perform this amazing feat to counteract his guru aparad, then everyone came to watch it. It's like a spectacle, like feeding Christians to the lions or something. Romans used to do that in the Colosseum. They would gather the Christians and throw them in the Colosseum and let out lions, and then lions would eat them. This is the Italian idea of fun. So people, you read history. So then thousands of people came to watch the king lie on a hot copper plate. Everyone was concerned that the king, as soon as he lied on the plate, he would leave his body. Can you imagine? If you lie on a hot skillet, you'll be burned to death. So when the king came there, they were lamenting. "Oh, king, if you lie on this plate, we will be deprived of our master. You are our Lord, you are our Father, you are everything for us." Because we heard earlier that he was taking care of the citizens, which are called praja, just like his own children, which was the original type of culture India had. But now it's every man for himself. Someone becomes a king or prime minister and they try to grab as much money as they can from the people, and abscond with as much property and fixed assets as they can before they get caught. It's quite different tune than we read about King Parikshit and King Yudhisthira and King Kulashekar and all the great kings of the past. So the king replied to the people that were lamenting like this, that they might lose their beneficent king. He said, listen, who's the real master anyway? Who's the real king? Jagannath is the master of everyone. Don't be concerned about my death. One who has taken birth will die one day. I do not fear my death. I do not want to be... Rather, I'm afraid of being punished by Yamaraj for my offense to my guru. Whether I die or survive by doing this act does not matter to me. Lord Chakradhar, that means Jagannath, one who holds the chakra, he knows everything. He will do whatever is good for me, but I must do my duty. Please, all of you kindly chant the holy name of Hari. That will help me. So all the praja or citizens are gathered around the hot plate, the hot copper plate, and they're chanting the holy name. So obviously that's beneficial, if someone's leaving their body to hear the kirtan of the holy name in their ears. After saying this, the king started to meditate on Niladri Bihari. Adri means mountain, Nila means blue. The one who enjoys on the blue mountain. It's an affectionate name for Jagannath, Niladri. So he started offering prayers, all glories to the Lord, and many, many long prayers he offered here, and we're just summarizing this. And he started chanting different names of the Lord. Shri Rama, Shri Krishna, Shri Hari, Mukunda, Madhava, Murari, Achyuta, Ananta, Govinda, Shama Sundar, Sadananda, Braja Sundar, Vamshi, Pani, Radha Vallabha, Pranamani, Daya Sagar, Dasarati, Sridhar, Shikara, Shripati, Lakshmi Nayak, Chakrapani, Shri Sita Ballabha, Raghumani, Vanamali, Okam Sari, Gopi Jivana, Dityahari, Shri Vatsalanchana, Keshava, Dina Bandhava, Vasudeva, Bhavamodana, Bhagavan, Jagat Jivan, Janardhan. Nice Nam Sankirtan. Very many, all these names are full of different lilas. So while chanting these various names of the Lord and hearing Hari Katha vibrating his ears and meditating on Jagannath, he climbed up the top of the hot copper plate. The copper plate was so hot that wet wood would burn to ashes. If you put wet wood on top of the hot copper plate, it would burn to ashes, bhasma. But still, without any fear, the king offered his prostrated obeisances on top of the copper plate. The king's body started to burn. His head, hands, and feet were burning. But still, the king was not afraid. Remembering Lord Jagannath, he continued to offer obeisances. Lord Jagannath, who is the cause of everything, he understood the whole situation of his surrendered devotee, King Kulashekar, and he became very merciful to the king. Immediately, the fire became cooling like water by the mercy of the Lord. The king's burning body was immediately cooled. All the assembled people were crying in great grief because they couldn't perceive this. They saw the fire underneath the copper bed or plate, and they could understand how hot the plate was, a raging fire underneath. But the king was perceiving, by the mercy of Lord Jagannath, that copper plate became as cool as a mountain stream. So no one will find any difficulty lying in a mountain stream. And they were all wailing, "Oh, we're so unfortunate, we're losing our king. Who will maintain us?" When everyone was crying like this, the king rose from the copper plate. He looked effulgent like a second sun, and again he offered obeisances on the copper plate. He was cool and collected, unconcerned as a swan playing in the cooling water of a river. Everyone surrounding the plate was very astounded to see this. The king offered his obeisances 36 times. Then the Lord Jagannath appeared standing next to the copper plate, and he lifted King Kulashekar off the burning plate. And he said, "Now, O king, you will be glorified all over the universe. Never before, never in the future will ever be one as pious as you. Now you are free from all your sins and offenses." So due to the Yogamaya potency of the Lord, no one could see this going on. So King Kulashekar, he's a real person. You can read in History of India. He really lived, and what was the name of that book he wrote? Prabhupada has that. What's it called? King Kulash Prayers. I think it's called the BBT ISKCON in Delhi. Prabhupada wrote a commentary on a book called The Prayers of King Kulashekar. He is one of the 12 Alawars. These are famous bhakti saints of the medieval period, or actually even before that. About 1100 AD, the Alawars in South India, they were forerunners of this bhakti cult. And there was Andal Alwar and Tirumala and Kulashekar. There are about 12 of them. And they wrote in the Tamil, I think they wrote in Tamil language. This is the same Kulashekar. So this is amazing pastime. Lord Jagannath came and arranged for this. So this, the moral of the story is that we should, specifically we should keep the dust on our forehead. The dust is purifying. Braja Raj, this holy dust, is very, very purifying. Our saints are telling us, our Mahajans tell us in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhaktapada Duli, Bhaktapada Jal, Bhakta Uchishtatin Mahabal. It says that the dust of the feet of the Vaishnavas, Bhaktapada Duli. Duli means like go Duli. Duli means Raj or dust. Bhaktapada Duli, Bhaktapada Jal, Bhakta Uchishtatin Mahabal. That these things are very powerful, Mahabal, very, very strong, very powerful. The dust of the feet of the Vaishnavas, or the water that is used to wash their feet, or their remnants of their food, something coming from their mouth, if they've taken some Mahaprasad and they left something. If one partakes of these or honors these, then easily he can get Krishna Prema, because these things are all transcendental. So here the Guru, apparently he was very sad by this behavior. So we hear about this, and there are a couple of things we learn from this. One is that the devotee is always protected by the Lord, as Krishna tells Arjuna, and tells Arjuna to announce in the Kurukshetra battle. Konteya pratijanihi na me bhakta pranashati. He says, "O son of Kunti, you should tell everyone inform everyone in this battle, that the devotees here, they will not perish." This is the battle of Kurukshetra. But everybody is in a battle of Kurukshetra, or Karma Kshetra. This is a field of karma, field of action. The body is a field, and the senses are the actors, and the soul is a witness. So everyone is in the Karma Kshetra of this world and this body. So those that are devoted to the Lord, they are never vanquished. Bhakti pranashati, na pranashati. Nash means destroyed. Devotees are never destroyed, they live forever with the Lord in a bond of love. So this king, he was rescued by Lord Jagannath's mercy. He was a dutiful king, a religious king, but he made some minor infraction, apparently innocently, but still it was some slight form of guru droha, neglect or disregard of guru, by removing those dust particles from his head. But these particles of dust are our greatest ornament. Ladies and gents, they put so many dust particles on their body, and they consider that very attractive and very valuable and meaningful. At least in old days, queens used to decorate the top of their breast with kumkum powder, red powder. You read about it in Bhagavatam, the gopis would do. It's something attractive for the husband or the king. And they put so many powders and on their face, and they put powders and rouge and kajal and all this kind of stuff, mascara and eyeliner and eyeshadow and liner and all, whatever kind of thing. And all this is different kinds of dust. It's different kinds of dust. that we put on our bodies to make our bodies attractive, or to attract other people to our bodies. But if we go to Vrindavan and we get Braja Raj, which is this transcendental dust, this transcendental bhushanam, divya bhushan, transcendental ornaments. And moreover, what is this Braja Raj, Brajaduli? It is the kunkum. It's a kunkum from the gopi's breast. And Krishna, sometimes when Krishna is fatigued, then Radharani, or he's tired from rasa dancing, she holds Krishna's feet on her breast. And then she must, and because he finds happiness by that activity, and she massages his feet. Then that kunkum from Radharani's breast comes on Krishna's feet. Then when Krishna walks on the ground of Vrindavan, it falls off his feet. So the duli of Braja duli, is mixed with the kunkum of Radharani's breast. And not only that, sometimes in the summertime, if it's very hot and we go somewhere and we have some position, maybe we're some position or we're treated in a very traditional way, if we visit someone, they may greet us with a garland, a flower garland and chandan. Put some chandan on our forehead. Sometimes a politician goes and visits someone. This was the way of greeting someone in the summertime. Give them some sharbat, some cooling drink, sweet drink, rusasava, that red liquid, what are they called? Ruaza, that red stuff. That's all the different things inside. And pineapple juice and all these different things mixed up. So some refreshing cooling drink and some chandan, sandalwood paste on the forehead, and some mala. That's very nice. Reception. Especially in the Vaishnava circle, we often receive one another like this. We can read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya used to receive the devotees like this, coming from Bengal. After they walked for 1 month from Bengal to attend the Chaturmasya and Rath Yatra, Dol Yatra, Snan Yatra in Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya would personally come down and greet them at a Taranala bridge as they would enter the precincts of Puri, and he would offer them flower garlands from his own hand. Then he would anoint their foreheads with chandan and embrace them, the men at least. He would embrace them and welcome them. A welcoming committee. Swagatam. Swagatam Krishnam, Swagatam.